The Swern oxidation is capable of oxidizing alcohols to ketones or aldehydes. It does not continue on into a carboxylic acid. And this has a couple of useful properties, aside from the fact of being able to convert a primary alcohol into an aldehyde. First off, compared to other methods that, for example, the chromic acid uses heavy metals. That's what chromium is, a heavy metal. And if we're going to make something for human consumption and for our own personal use, then if we use chromium, we run the risk of heavy metal poisoning. And heavy metals, they can be mild or very toxic. It just depends on which metal it is. But if we can avoid using heavy metals altogether, it's probably best to do that. The other thing, which I find very useful, is that a lot of the products, carbon dioxide, carbon, hydrochloric acid, these things are easy to separate, where in other reactions, well, if you've ever done a reaction, you know most of the time the most irritating steps are not really the steps to give the product itself, so not even our ketone or aldehyde, whatever it is. It's the separations that come after that. You might have a reaction that takes 3 steps, but if you include the separations you're going to have to do, it might be 8 steps, and that's no joke. That sounds appropriate to me. And some of them can be even more, and very, very time consuming, very annoying, and extremely messy. So anytime you're able to get a reaction like this where already you've got a lot of things that are going to be already separate on their own, these will be gases, or are extremely easy to separate, it's very, very often worthwhile to spend more money or have a lower yield just so you don't have to deal with all that stuff, because it just, depending on what you're doing, like I said, it could take days to separate some of this stuff. So it's definitely something to consider, just the nuisance factor. But aside from that, it really works the same as any other oxidation. For a secondary alcohol, we'll be oxidizing into a ketone, and for a primary alcohol, it will be oxidizing into an aldehyde, and it will stop there and not continue on into a carboxylic acid.